We're going to hit start. You'll experience it today if you're new. We're going to actually use the lockdown browser typically, but this will give us a chance to at least mess with kind of some of the features of the things I'd use on a quiz. So I'm going to hit start. If there's a calculator, I typically put it in this top left-hand side. You have access to it. It's either probably going to be a for function or a scientific for right now, because the graphing isn't really help one way or the other. Okay, so that's one thing that you have access to there. I think you can pick it up and move it around, right? The answer box is here. Okay. This isn't a calculator. This is like, so you can get the things in your answer box. If you need a fraction, you hit the fraction. If you need a squared, you hit the squared. If you need a square root. If you can't find what you want here, notice that little arrow right there. It can change what that keyboard is. Okay. And sometimes I'll even put a customized one in there if there's something goofy we really need. But if you can't find what you're looking for, you can use that. You can also just type, like if I needed an x squared, I could just type x and I hit shift 6 and notice how it made a little exponent thing. So I can just type it. I don't have to use these guys right here if you know the keyboard shortcuts. Okay. So that is another feature that we've got going. Then the other thing that I want you to do is that I prefer that you put your work in here. Okay. This is where your little stylus comes in. If you don't have a stylus or it's not working, I have some here that you can borrow. Okay. There's a lot of different things up here. There's a little pencil writing tool. Okay. That's typically what we use. There's a line tool. Sometimes I put the line, sometimes I don't. There's an eraser. It's really lousy. Okay. If you have to erase something and it's a lot of something, I would just put a line through it and write it again. Okay. Because it takes up too much time to erase. Okay. That's a clear all button. I don't have anything on there written yet, so I can't use it. The redo and the undo. And then this is text, so you can actually type in there. And not a lot of people have done text this year. There's some math stuff in there. And then there's this add text if you need to add text. Okay. This little guy here will change the color. So you know how we've been working with the red and the blue? I will leave the red and the blue as options. I can only pick 6 colors. Okay. So I usually start everybody with blue, but I happen to use green this time. And then there's the red and the blue. Okay. Take a minute and use this little stylus and just scribble in there a little bit. See if you can actually solve that problem. Everybody solve that problem. It's a super easy problem, right? And then go ahead and, type your answer in there. And again, remember, you can type the 6. You don't have to use this thing. This is for they put that on, because if you were using this off of an iPad or a phone or something, that's why they have the number pad. And I can't get rid of the number pad. They always make us do this. Oh, that's the other thing. That right there is not the X. Do you see what what does it say when I popped it up there? Multiplied. That right there is the X. Does that make sense? So don't type that as your X when you're trying. I know it's hard when you're taking a quiz. Sometimes you forget, but if you do that as the X, then it marks it wrong. So I always go back in hand grade, but try to use X or type the X. Just get in the habit of typing the X. All right. Now that you've got that, go ahead and hit the next button. Then it'll ask you to submit, and then you say yes. If you don't, hold on. If on the little writing feature, I have it auto score the writing feature so that I don't have to go in and hand enter absolutely every 0 that I would have to enter. So even if there's not a lot of work or you don't do work, even if you make a mark on there, any mark, it will score it. Okay. So if you can make marks on those, you should be writing your work on every single one. Usually it's not a problem. Sometimes I'll give you like a double one though. And if you do both of them, then, because some people just need more space to write, then it'll say that you have a question you haven't answered. Okay. And then you just click yes and it submits, and that's it. Okay. There's another tool in there, the annotation tool, right? I forgot to show you that one. I can't show it on mine, but I'll show you where it's at. Go ahead and get into your assignment for today. So there should be one. There's a review assignment. You may have started it yesterday. So everybody open that up because that's what we're going to do next in class anyways. So it's numbered 3. I always number all the assignments so we know it's easy to find them. And then it's in OTUS. I'm going to find it too and open it with you. Mine's going to look different than yours because I have the teacher version. It's hidden in a weird spot. Okay. Preview. Okay. I'm going to hit start again. You are welcome to write your work anywhere. Notice this is review, so I don't have the little patch for you to write work on there because it won't auto grade well enough for me to be able to just so you can get a score if you really want to score. Okay. There's typically a video that shows you what to do. Okay. If you're lost completely. Okay. And there's always a check answer button so that you can check your work. Sometimes you have a right answer and you don't type it exactly the way I do. And that's a question. Just let me know. Notice this scrolls. So there's more than one question sometimes. Okay. And again, those are just the help you get the structure of the question thing. If you click right here, this is where the screen annotation tool is. Okay. I can't ever get to it because I'm not an assigned student in the class, but I usually turn it on for you, even on the quizzes. On the quizzes, make sure when you're writing your work, you use the little patch of paper, but you can always scribble over the top of your screen when you're doing the review. Okay. Sometimes it's helpful if you have to like scribble on a graph to use the little annotation tool that's over here. Did everybody find it? Did I turn it on? Is it there? Yeah. Okay. And then that's really it. So you have the whole class period to get through. There's 3 items here, but embedded in each one of the items is multiple questions. Okay. You can use the annotation tool. You can use you can use Cami. You can use your desks with a whiteboard marker. That's fine. Okay. You can use a piece of paper. All right. So I am available for questions if you need help. When are we taking this quiz? Tomorrow. Okay. At the end of class today, we're going to do the 1 question skills check quiz. Okay. So you get about 5 minutes or so to do that. Okay. So at the end of class, I'm going to stop you and we'll do that one. All right. So I'm going to be quiet. You guys get to work. You have